Hey guys, Chris Santana here. So now that the company has put out all the options that they're offering us to try to offset the overage that we have in the fall, the question is there an option in there for you personally? Now, of all the options that are being offered, the Veop is the one that will not only help reduce the overage, but it will also create a permanent vacancy long term. Now, that's not to diminish the importance of the extended leaves of absence, as they do help mitigate a furlough, and I encourage anyone who's in a position to take an extended leave of absence to please take one. Now, I hesitated a bit before I recorded this video because the Veop that's being offered now is very different from anything that's been offered before. However, it's a very important decision for flight attendants to make. And although we were not made part of the process of how this was put together, the details, who were the players, we are the people who are going to make the decision ultimately of taking one or not. Now, a very important thing that flight attendants should know and remember is the 65-point plan, which is the retirement plan that American put in place back in 2017. And it says that a flight attendant who has 10 years or more of service with the company and whose age plus years of service add up to 65 is eligible for retirement under the company's plan. Now, I don't want to get too much into the mechanics and the details of the VOPs, as those are very self-explanatory. The APFA's put out a great chart. The company's put out a lot of communication. There's a lot of information out there, both from the company and the union, that gives details about what the VOPs are offering. But what I want to really get into today is the Rhra, which is the Retiree Health Reimbursement Arrangement. An attractive option that has never been offered before, because medical expenses are one of the most burdensome things on anyone who retires and they're not 65 yet, which is when you're eligible for the government premium-free healthcare in the United States. And the Rhra that was negotiated into this agreement, or brokered, however you want to call it, is very important. Number one, it not only it gives a broad inclusion of anyone taking the VOP who qualifies under the 65-point plan. And so if you're 64 and you literally have like a year or a couple of months before you reach retirement age, 65, you still get up to $100,000, and it stretches all the way up to $150,000. So it's a very good thing. Now, I will say that in my personal opinion, I am just not sure that we will ever see something like this come from the company. I was almost surprised that they did this, but as with anything else, it's very important that the people considering taking this ask questions. The APFA is having a town hall on Wednesday. It's super important that you ask questions and that you get concerns and anything that's making you feel sort of like on the edge, whether you should take it or not. You should get all these questions answered. And the thing that is, to me, making me a bit hesitant is that the company did not elect, or APFA and the company did not agree, I guess. I'm not sure if APFA even proposed this. They never said anything about it. But the Rhra is so good. It is really such a protective barrier. It is actually something that the flight attendants themselves working would have a very difficult time for what we make to put this type of money aside as a reimbursement account. And now, so I don't know if a lot of you read it, but it's a virtual reimbursement account. The company's not putting $150,000 or $100,000, whatever you're getting, in an account for you to just like take out whenever you want. It's sort of like a virtual thing where you incur expenses that qualify under the plan, and when you incur them, you submit them for reimbursement. The company gives you the money back. It's just like our flexible spending account, with the exception that that one we personally fund through our paychecks every month, and then the company, when the year starts, just puts all the money into the account for us, and we can just use it with the card that they give us, the debit card. But this is different. This is just sort of like a virtual thing. It doesn't really exist physically in a bank account, but the flight attendant can submit expense reports. Now, as good as the Rhra is, and as much as I highly recommend that those of you who are out there who were planning on retiring, or who thought about it, or who even considered leaving early, you really should take a look at this plan. Now, what concerns me the most is that there's no pre-funding of the plan. So So the plan is standing on its own. The company is solely responsible for administering it and handling it and managing it. So what concerns me is that what happens if post-COVID, the company is still in dire need of, earnings, and we're not making a lot of money, or things just don't go the way we are planning them.